Assaults happening in our kids' schools, and they are going unreported. Police call them crimes, but in reality, you may never know these crimes happened.
Call 7 investigator Kelly Raybon working with our partners at the Denver Post to determine if that's because of the way the schools report the assaults to state authorities.
Mike and Ann, when a school disciplines a student in Colorado, they're required by law to tell the state about it every time. But we found it's nearly impossible to know how incidents are really being reported, leaving parents in the dark until now. From classrooms to cafeterias and outside schools across the state, students caught on camera out of control. Evidence of serious crimes, easy to see online and in police reports. But our investigation found in the database of incident records schools send to the Colorado Department of Education, the same crimes are often impossible to find.
I was told, your son is bleeding profusely, he's starting to pass out, you might want to get over here immediately.
When Michelle Judson's son, Jacob, was 9 years old, a classmate at Prairie Hills Elementary attacked him with a metal ruler.
They had to dig particles of metal out of his finger for several minutes, and he had to have 5 stitches that was cut to the bone.
The classmate charged and convicted for assault. But you'd never know that looking at what Prairie Hills reported to the state. 0 assaults.
What do you think happened to your son's incident?
They buried it because they didn't want the black mark against their school.
The school did report 5 incidents of detrimental behavior and 2 dangerous weapons. The Adams 12 school district can't tell us how or if it reported what happened to Jacob.
My son actually feared for his life. I mean, he was threatened several times that he was going to be stabbed. And one girl actually showed him the knife.
Desiree Ritchie admits her son Diavion was part of the problem at Bruce Randolph School in Denver. His disciplinary record shows multiple fights, strangling another student, and even throwing a chair that hit a substitute teacher.
They suspended him 2-3 days at a time.
Yet Bruce Randolph reported 0 assaults to CDE that year.
To me, that's a lot because I know my son assaulted someone.
Bruce Randolph did report hundreds of incidents in categories like disobedient, defiant, or repeated interference, and other violations.
They're more worried about their image than actually making sure that your children are safe when they're in their school.
At other schools that reported 0 assaults to the state, our Call 7 investigation also found students arrested for serious crimes. Denver police records show the aggravated assault of a school security guard and a teacher at Smiley Middle. A classmate beaten, kicked, and knocked unconscious at Thomas Jefferson High. And the rape of a student in the boys' locker room at Kennedy High School.
Is it possible, for example, a police officer, handles a particular instance and then there isn't the full reporting chain from police to school to state? Yes, in some isolated cases, it is possible.
Denver Public Schools Superintendent Tom Boasberg says because of privacy laws, he can't explain any of the apparent underreporting we found.
So in some cases, again, there's an allegation or a charge that a particular offense was committed, but upon investigation, that was not substantiated.
Last year alone, Denver police reported arresting or citing students for assault a total of 128 times, all at schools that told the state there were 0 assaults on campus.
We want to make sure that absolutely every incident is reported properly.
The Colorado Department of Education told us it does offer guidance on proper reporting when schools call and ask for it.
The districts don't randomly select what a behavior is coded as. They have some training in it.
But CDE does not sanction schools for underreporting and has never audited a school to ensure its data is accurate, essentially accepting what districts submit to be true.
You're counting on the school districts to report to you accurately what's going on in their schools.
Yes, that is correct.
Underreporting is only part of the problem. We found even when schools do report incidents in seemingly serious categories, the state doesn't seem to care. CDE counts only certain types of incidents toward whether a school is labeled persistently dangerous or PDS, a status that by federal law triggers mandatory notification to parents and allows them to transfer their children out of the school. Among the categories that don't count, even if a school has hundreds of these incidents, detrimental behavior, other violations of code of conduct, even third-degree assaults and dangerous weapons.
I think that they need to change the guidelines.
The U.S. Department of Education agreed in a 2007 report, noting a Colorado school would need more than one violent incident per day for 2 straight years to be determined PDS, and calling that expectation, quote, not reasonable. In fact, our investigation found no school has ever been identified as PDS in the entire 12-year history of the program.
We shouldn't have to police the schools. We shouldn't have to.
But parents say it's clear they can't count on the state to hold schools accountable.
I think that schools experiencing these problems are just doing everything in their power to bury what happens.
You can see what your child's school has reported on our website. Take a look, and if you know of incidents that you believe weren't reported, let us know. I'm Call 7 investigator Kelly Raybon.